A guy went on Jeopardy a few times. His name is Kelly Donahue, and he appeared on 3 nights in a row: Friday, April 23rd, Monday, April 26th, and Tuesday, April 27th. And you know, when you're on for 3 nights in a row, I mean, things are going pretty well, right? He won a few times. He brought in $79,000. But the problem is, he was an undercover white supremacist. So many white supremacist Jeopardy contestants. I mean, can they find anyone who is just even just kind of okay with an African American? No, they cannot. There's a letter out there now posted on Medium, and the media is all over it. Winthrop man denies making racist hand gesture on Jeopardy after 500 plus former contestants sign open letter. Who signs an open letter? Do you have anything to do with your time? Never sign an open letter, even if it's for good things. So what did this contestant do wrong? Well, a couple of things. Number one, on Monday, April 26th, Kelly responded to a clue with a term for the Roma that is considered a slur. What does that mean? Fold your ears, because the term gypsy is about to be spoken. Gypsy, apparently not okay to use anymore. Now, I don't know anything really about gypsies, because besides, if you live in a Wes Anderson movie, the only reason you could ever think of to use the term gypsy would be if you were correctly answering a question on Jeopardy about gypsies. And guess what? That's exactly what was happening. I mean, the guy actually got the question right. Even the people complaining about him admitted that. Yes, it may be an innocent or ignorant reply, and yes, it was technically correct. You're just throwing that out there, and yes, it was technically correct. Being correct in a trivia game is not a technical detail. It's literally the purpose of the game. But the big crime came later. He flashed the OK symbol. I mean, sort of. Let's watch it happen on camera, everybody. Watch closely. Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, look at him in slow motion, like the Zapruder film. Look at this. Oh, there we go. Back and to the left, back and to the left, back and to the left. There it is. The OK sign, just proving he is a racist, just like Jimmy Fallon. Yep. And of course, Mark Anthony. Yeah, you know, that guy is obviously. Oh, and the biggest white supremacist of all, Will Smith. Now, obviously, the OK symbol has been around forever. So what is the problem if he flashed the OK symbol? From the complaint letter, this, whether intentional or not, resembled very closely a gesture that has been co-opted by white power groups, alt-right groups, and an anti-government group that calls itself the 3%ers. Now, if you swim in constantly online Twitter circles, perhaps you would remember a few controversies like this in the past. You know, like when we confirmed the racism of Paul McCartney. That was a big moment in our show's history. And Mr. T. That was not as big a moment. I mean, he kind of passed a little bit. But when Jamie Foxx, we unveiled him as a white supremacist, people really started talking. But it sure doesn't sound like Kelly Donahue had any idea what he was walking into. He wrote on Facebook, "I'm truly horrified with what has been posted about me on social media. I absolutely, unequivocally condemn white supremacy and racism of any kind. People who know me personally know that I am not a racist. But for the public at large, it bears repeating. I am not a racist. And I reject and condemn white supremacy and all forms of bigotry for evil that they are. It's shameful for me to think that anyone would try to use the stage of Jeopardy to advance or promote such a disgusting agenda. During the taping of my 4th episode, I was simply raising 3 fingers to mark my 3rd win. There was nothing more I was trying to indicate. I deeply regret this terrible misunderstanding. I never meant to hurt a soul, and I assure you I am no friend of racists or white supremacists." Okay. Sure, this sounds like an innocent misunderstanding involving one regular guy and a bunch of completely insane people who see racism around every corner. But how can we believe Kelly Donahue about his flashing the number 3 excuse? Sounds like something a racist would say. Like if he was really flashing a 3 after his 3rd win, why wasn't he flashing a 1 and a 2 after his previous wins, huh? Well, actually, he was. There he is, signaling 1 after his 1st win, 2 after his 2nd, and 3 after his 3rd. Also, he looks like a sketch from a Saturday Night Live rerun where he should definitely be portrayed by Horatio Sanz. I mean, they look like the exact same person. Or if they got really desperate, they could always get the host of Chewing the Fat. And I gotta say, there's some resemblance there. Put those side by side, baby. Of course, there is a little detail about the racist OK symbol. That little detail, is, of course, that it's actually not a racist symbol. I mean, it's a minor detail, if you care about that sort of thing. It was literally started as a joke to troll the media. I am not kidding you. If you don't know this story, here's one of the targets of the joke, unironically, honestly, somehow, writing about the joke from the New York Times, quote, "It started in early 2017 as a hoax. Some users on 4chan, an anonymous and unrestricted online message board, began what they called Operation OKKK to see if they could trick the wider world, and especially liberals and the mainstream media, into believing that the innocuous gesture was actually a clandestine symbol of white power. Quote, we must flood Twitter and other social media websites with spam claiming that the OK hand signal is a symbol of white supremacy," one of the users posted, going on to suggest that everyone involved create fake social media accounts with basic white girl names to propagate the notion as widely as possible. Then all the media, actually fell for it, and now the media actually claims it is actually racist. That's the world you live in. You have handed the 4chan trolls one of the greatest of all time wins for them, this side of QAnon, of course. You might think that, of course, we're considering talking about a very widely used hand gesture, and an obvious and provable bit of exonerating evidence is included. You think that would be enough to satisfy the mob, but you would be wrong. In reaction to the explanation, the woke group of contestants wrote, quote, "Regardless of his stated intent, the gesture is a racist dog whistle." Regardless of his stated intent. You can't yada yada intent. It's the whole story. We have developed this standard where intent doesn't matter. You see this used by the left over and over and over again. It's about how the person who hears the words feels, not the intent of the speaker who is getting their life destroyed. That doesn't matter. Well, I'd like to suggest an itty-bitty addendum to our new rule. Intent is the only thing that matters. The N-word means something very different coming from a Klansman's mouth than it does from MLK's letter from a Birmingham jail. As John McWhorter points out in his recent Substack, they understand the difference, but see some larger value in pretending that it doesn't exist. That explains the foundation of about 90% of our cultural debates today. Intent does matter. It's the only thing that matters. And you better be sure before you start running around and destroying an innocent person's life for absolutely no reason. Of course, I will say, this protection does not apply to known racist Barack Obama. As we all know, Barry, clearly a hardcore white supremacist.